Hi, everybody, and today I am joined by my lovely client, Margaret McDonald from Scotland. And last year, Margaret joined us on a group retreat in Puglia, Italy. So I'm catching up with Margaret today to see, what's unfolded since and really to have you here, what's on the table and what's possible for you when you really put yourself in a new environment and retreat in this way rather than continue to overwhelm yourself with lots of information online. So Margaret, welcome.
Hi, Grace. Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks.
Lovely to see you. So share with us, Margaret, I know it was last year, but can you share with
Yeah.
us, like what prompted you to leave Scotland and come to Italy and actually take part in a retreat? What was going on for you at the time?
Well, very interestingly, one word you just used was overwhelmed. I was really overwhelmed at the time, mainly with the whole online world, Grace. The only way I could describe it for me, what I'm seeing now, it felt like I had been kind of sucked into this abyss, and I had lost
Mm,
all my clarity. And so that was really, and I got the nudge because we'd been working privately together.
mhm.
And at that time as well, we were doing the online group coaching program,
Yeah,
which I
that's
absolutely
right.
loved. Yeah, loved that. But there was a part of me that really wanted to be um, in the environment and in a new environment with other women. Not,
Mhm.
just, I mean, this is great, but I just wanted to be actually real.
Yeah, in
Uh,
real time. Yeah.
yes. Um, Also at that time, I was in a job that I really didn't like. So I was trying to sort of get, at that time, some of it actually, I didn't quite know why I was going, but it became
Mhm.
very clear when I was away,
Mhm.
when I was on retreat.
Yeah.
And certain things started landing that I couldn't have seen while I was in my own environment, if you like.
Can you recall
So
anything big that landed for you when you were here on retreat?
yeah, definitely I started to see that I was really moving in the right direction for me with coaching. And that's,
Yeah.
that was my absolute passion. But I could see personally I had a lot of different things going on that became quite obvious that needed my attention to make some changes to. So
Mm.
that was really in my personal life.
Mhm.
And it wasn't all necessarily that everything landed there and then at the retreat,
Yeah.
but it started
Yeah.
becoming clearer.
Yeah.
And one particular which did land, which I find quite hilarious now, but most of my life I've had this voice kind of almost like, when my family's all grown up, I'm going to live abroad, blah, blah, blah. That's went on. That's been like a story that I've. And what I
Mhm.
realised when I was away was that's actually been like some form of insecure thinking.
Mhm.
I, yeah, I absolutely love where I stay. I love having the relationship with my family in Scotland, and all I need
Uh-huh.
is to be going away a bit more or opening up
Uh-huh.
opportunities for myself to do something similar to yourself with retreats.
Yeah.
But I don't need to move lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah. Oh, that there's a freedom to that, Margaret.
It was
Yeah. I
huge grace. So when I came
Yeah.
home, I was like, everybody's kind of looking because they were surprised. My close
Mm.
family and friends instantly thought Margaret would be moving to Italy.
Uh-huh.
And because that would have been the old story for Margaret, if you like. And what came back was actually, I'm really happy at home, which I became more engaged with my own home.
Wow.
and, you know, doing certain things to it and just enjoying it and
Yeah.
really appreciating, you know, this is great. That was
Lovely.
huge. That was
Yeah.
huge.
And I've heard that before, Margaret. You know, I've heard, like, obviously it was my journey too. Like, I thought I had to move countries, move cities, move houses, move relationships to be
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
yet, when we really come back to center, it's incredible how we actually have everything we need on our doorstep. And of course, we have a choice if we want to move
Yeah.
or we want to travel. But when it's not coming from that urgent place, and I need to get away to be okay, then it's a completely different experience. So
Yeah.
I really do love that feeling at home
Yes.
arose for you. I love that.
Yeah.
I recall when we spoke, Margaret, you were feeling a bit disconnected to your business. So did you notice, I mean, what have you noticed about your business? Or tell us what happened for you around your business, you know, after attending the retreat. What emerged?
I really tapped into doing things in my own way, and I became very engaged in a simple way with my own business, which led to me hosting my own retreat here in Scotland, which I absolutely
Lovely.
loved, and the ladies that were there loved it. And that's what's continued for me, is just really having the simplicity of an understanding of doing it my own way, and I'm not in that overwhelmed way that I was, you know. And I think really on reflection, Grace, I think I was probably ready just to give up, actually, you know, with the whole
At that
coaching.
time? Right.
Because it was it felt like it'd been quite a long journey to get there, and landing in this world that I knew nothing about, really, with the whole online thing. And now I've got a huge appreciation for that, and I can see and understand how it kind of happened. That I think it happens very innocently to a lot of women without even realising it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'm always sharing is that you don't have to be a high-tech social media loving millennial to succeed in, you know, an online business or in anything really in this world. I think there's always a more graceful way to do it, and your way is the right way. So did you find then, Margaret, that you were drawing clients in without all of that traditional online push, or what did you notice?
Absolutely. Quite interestingly, how I've always drawn clients with all my other business, all my other service that I've provided. And it's always come very naturally, very authentic, and most of the time over a coffee. And you know, or some simple connection. And that's basically, that's what I've tapped back into for myself, Grace. So
I love that. Good. So when you were in Italy and when you were here, you know, obviously there's women that are, you know, maybe considering coming, but you know, they might have that sense of, you know, I can't do that, or I can't travel there, or put myself first. I need to put everything else first. Like, what for you was one of the challenges to actually say yes to the retreat and get yourself here and be part of it? Like, can you recall, like, I'm assuming it wasn't just an easy peasy, here you go, Grace, I'm coming.
Oh no. In fact, quite a few of the challenges you just mentioned, like, yes, that's I had this strong desire to go, and I knew that I needed to be there. But one of the ones that flagged up for me was traveling. And traveling on my own, even though I had done it previously quite a few years ago, or I noticed I was really quite scared to do it.
Right.
But I did it. And actually, it turned out that it really lit a fire in me. You know, once you get going, and it's one plane at a time. One, that's how I took it all. And really enjoyed each airport that I was at, and just the connection and that sheer, like I'm doing this, and knowing that I was going to be arriving to something very special. It felt very, very special to me.
Yeah.
I'd never been to Italy either. So that was a whole new experience. The money piece, I mean, I certainly didn't have all, you know, the availability just there and then. But again, that came, and it came in certain stages, and I just stayed connected I was going. You know, I was going. And
money loves a purpose.
Well, that's what we've discovered, Grace. And when I've got desire and faith, and I was like, when that connection's there, and you really do, it's not just I'm doing that. It's like you just trusting that and having that faith that if that's what you want, it will show up. It does.
Yeah, you find your way.
It does. Yes. So I would say that was because that was probably my, you know, the travel was, and going on my own was a big one, and you know, and getting the money, and actually leaving my daughter at that time as well. She's come to mind, and she loved it, and they were so supportive as well, my family, you know. But my daughter was quite a bit. She was only 17, but she loved it and did great. Absolutely great.
So it was a real turnaround.
Yes. Yeah.
I think there is something really empowering about traveling on our own. I mean, I've done it quite a bit, you know, obviously for business purposes. But I notice every time I'm faced with going out into the world on my own, although there's a nervous apprehension initially, there's kind of like a confidence boost afterwards. That we've done it. I mean, I think one of the greatest things any woman can do is, you know, this is just a personal to me, but is to be able to sit in a restaurant and have dinner alone and not feel self-conscious.
Yeah.
And like, if you can, like, to me, that I love that. I love the enjoyment of that. And I know that so many women, like, just, it's a big deal for them to either get on a plane and go somewhere alone, or just sit in a restaurant alone. I mean, obviously on a group retreat or in a private retreat, you know, people are always with me or they're with each other, and you're not really on your own per se. But I think that there's something very empowering about being able to just stand on your own 2 feet and be confident and resilient, and putting ourselves in a new environment does that. What did you notice for yourself about, you know, because you came from Scotland to Italy, so what did you notice about putting yourself in the environment here? What do you recall about that? Like, if anything, like, what was special for you about this environment?
Well, the whole, even from the second I arrived in Italy, I just absolutely loved it. I noticed the difference just with the relationship between the men and women interaction, which I loved. I was like, this was nice. This was something new for me to see. So I loved that.
They always let you know when they always let you know when they like you. The whistling and the appreciation of beauty.
Yeah, and I just, like, it was lovely. It was really, it was like that's really that's quite lovely. It's quite a new experience. It's I think especially being in a different country, you know, it's beautiful. The whole, when the minute and you see Ostuni, it was just like, wow. You know, it just opens up the senses, opens up everything, and it's like, you know, I knew that I had made the right decision. I knew that. But what's beyond that you really don't know. You don't, because I never even imagined that I was going to feel like that practically from the minute that, you know, I landed in Italy and could see. Yeah. And then when we went on retreat, and, you know, and where we were staying, and the connection with the women, and obviously you're just amazing coaching. The yoga, and I know we're not, you know, it's not all retreats are like that, but that was the experience I had. It really, I think actually really what I'm just realising now, it woke up things that I had kind of forgotten about. It wasn't just for business, it opened up so much actually. So much.
I mean,
that I couldn't have known. You know, I didn't know.
Exactly. Well, that's it, because we get so lost in our own narrow kind of looking at the world.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm so passionate about encouraging people to come away from their normal environment and experience a retreat is for that very reason. Like, it literally wakes up those dormant passions.
Yeah.
And we get to bring that into our business. And like you said, Margaret, it's not just about sitting down looking at the career and the business and all of that. Yeah. Can you share with us one thing that you really loved? I'm sure there's more, but just for purposes of time, you know, is there anything that stands out in your mind, like that you really just loved when you were here?
I loved when we actually, the coaching in the cave has just just come.
That was wonderful.
What for me, what it opened up for me, I mean, I had my insight there and then, while we were all having this beautiful dinner, and in conversation and the coaching, but you don't even realise it's you know, that you're still coaching, Grace. It's just it's the conversation.
Yeah.
And that I just had that insight, which was amazing for myself. But it also taught me how I could take this and use it for myself in the same way that I love the naturalness of, you know, doing your work in such a beautiful environment with such ease and simplicity. Yeah. And every woman in the room just loving it. Or in the cave.
And for those that are wondering what Margaret's talking about, you know, like part of the retreat, I always ensure that we go to a really incredible space and we enjoy the senses, whether it's food, taste, touch, smell, whatever. And in this case, we were coaching in a cave, and that was because the restaurant was in a cave. So Margaret and I and the other girls in the group were just enjoying a really beautiful, sensual meal, and I was continuing the conversation. So I remember that moment. Like, I remember you got your download right there in the cave, and over that glass of wine was so good. So I'm really glad. It sounds like a freedom has opened up, Margaret, and I know you're going on to host another retreat very soon for your clients. So I know business is still moving for you, and that's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool. So for those of you that would like to follow Margaret's journey a little bit further, she is just like doing these beautiful blogs at the moment, and she's got awesome services where she's helping women to really get clear on that next simple step, because Margaret's all about simplicity. You can find Margaret on margaret-macdonald.com, and that's MacDonald, M-A-C, rather than M-C. And for those of you that are interested in, you know, joining us on retreat in Italy, the good news is we've just opened the doors to our next group retreat happening October 5th through 7th, 2018. We have a few spaces available for that. So if you're interested in having a deep experience and really getting out of that overwhelm and addressing your business and finding that reconnection to your passions and your business again, then that retreat could speak to you. You can find that on gracefulcoaching.net/spiritual marketing retreat /, or if you'd like a private retreat, you know, a one-to-one experience, you'd be welcome to get in touch with me, Grace at citygirlconfidence.com, where we can set up a call to explore an option for you to join me privately in Italy as well in a one-to-one way. So thank you for being here today, Margaret, and I look forward to seeing you really soon. I know you're coming back. Margaret's actually coming back to Italy.
Yes.
So Margaret is returning to our next retreat in October, the spiritual marketing retreat. So I'm really looking forward to what awakens for you here during that retreat. And just out of curiosity, maybe that's a nice way to finish for our audience. So you came last year, you've been here. Like, why are you coming back? Tell us what's drawing you back here and to this one.
Well, it just feels it's my next step again. And I've been on the spiritual marketing program quite recently with yourself and Steph, and it's been amazing. And what I'm seeing is my actual business is moving up. I don't like using the word another level, but I'm so engaged, and it's my wisdom's guiding me there, Grace. It's my next step, and I've even got new shoes for my next step for Italy.
Brilliant.
I can see this going to be my brand with the next step or something, and it's really simply to help me, move forward. But still keeping the conversation, and who knows what else is going to open up. That's how I'm arriving, and it's the most beautiful environment, and working with yourself. I mean, I couldn't recommend it enough. It's just amazing working with you, Grace. Amazing.
Thank you, Margaret.
I've got so much that you bring to the table, and it's beautiful. And to walk away, that's what came recently. And I'm sure you put it in a post, and I thought that is actually what you've really brought for me, is insight, wisdom, and clarity.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I feel the same about working with you.
Thank you.
I'm delighted that you're coming back. And as I have said to many of my clients too, I mean, I engage retreats for myself at least 3 times a year. So for anyone listening who's like, is this just a one-off thing? Well, it can be, but what you'll find is that there's no better way to get your support than actually taking yourself out of your normal routine and environment and allowing yourself to receive that transformational coaching in the form of a retreat. And like I said, I do it a few times a year for myself personally. And so I'm really glad to see, Margaret, that, you're stepping into, receiving that type of support again for yourself. Because I don't think it is just a once in a lifetime experience. I mean, that's not necessarily the way that coaching works. However, there is something courageous about knowing, I've got to go and fuel up again. I've got to move myself there, and that's what wisdom's calling me to. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing today, Margaret, and I hope everyone listening has enjoyed. And we'll say goodbye. Ciao for now.
Thank you, Grace. Ciao. See you very soon.
Bye.